Hi everyone, myself Professor Devendra Kumar. Today we are going to discuss Verilog HDL 5th semester subject 18 EC 56. So first topic is trends in HDL. So why we need this HDL? So we have to discuss what is the use of this HDL. Increase in speed and complexity in digital circuits will complicate the designer's job, but EDA tools make the job easy for designer. Okay, speed and complexity means what? So speed means the execution speed of the code, or the transmit from one component to another component. So it is nothing but what the execution speed is. It will depends on the output is depends on the execution speed. Okay, complexity means the design of the particular circuit. Clear? So based on this, we have to reduce this complexity and the speed. We are going to use this HDL. So in the previous day, what we are going to do, using the wire and using the components, and we are going to connect each other, and we have to do more and more trials and error. After we will succeed the output. Clear? But here in using this HDL, it is automatically generated, and it will we can see the in software we can see the output. Okay, in computer we can see whatever the outputs, and we can reduce the complexity. Once we will get the output, after we are going to do the hardware component, right? So this is what the EDA tools make the job easy for designer. So next point, designer has to do high level abstraction, designing, and need to take care of functionality of the designer, and EDA tools take care of implementation. So EDA tools is it is going to what it will take care of the implementation means once the everything is finished means once you are going to in the initial stage we are going to write a code in VHDL. It will get what we will get the output, and we are going to check the syntax error. So finally it will generate the bit file, and automatically it will generate the what schematic of the particular circuit. Clear? So whatever the input, and we will expect the output. So for example, AND gate, we are going to take it as an AND gate. So AND gate, there is a 2 inputs and 1 output. So in one condition only we will get the high in the output condition. So in the waveform also we can see. So it depends on the in the truth, according to the truth table there are 4 conditions: 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1 conditions. So what is the output? Only 1 1 we will get the high. Clear? So based on that, so the circuit and the whatever the simulation is correct, and your code is also correct, so everything is correct in the software, then only we are going to design in the hardware. Clear? So next is behavior synthesis allow designers to directly design in terms of algorithm, and the behavior of the circuit EDA tool is then used to translate and optimize at each phase of design. So basically Verilog is widely used for what? Verification. So next is what designer have to think only in terms of functionality. So functionality means it is nothing but how it is going to function based on the input. So behavioral synthesis allowed engineers to design directly in terms of algorithm and the behavior of the circuit. So however, the behavioral synthesis did not gain widespread acceptance. Nowadays what RTL designer continues to be very popular. So we already know in the company side we are going to differentiate. There are a back-end designer and front-end designer. So what is the role of the designers? So in the front-end designer, in the in the appearance of the front-end designer means we can see the output. Okay, so in the screen we can see whatever, but in the background, so there is a lot of application is going to run. So that is what the back-end designer. Yeah. So designer often mix gate level description directly into the RTL description to achieve optimum results. The main thing is what? So we are going to use the HDL means we have to optimize the code and design, and we have to improve the speed of the circuit and we have to reduce the complexity of the circuit. So it will depends on the these factors or these parameters. It is very useful for the execution of the HDL. Another technique that is used for system level design is a mixed bottom up methodology. In the next slide we are going to design. So what is the methodologies we are going to use for in the HDL? So there are two types of methodologies: top down design methodology and bottom up design methodology. So here in the block diagram we can see, so this is what the top down design methodology. So the first, there are three blocks. Okay, the first block is top level block, second block sub block 1, and the third one is the leaf cell. So what do you mean by top level block and sub block and leaf cell? Okay, so this type of structure we call it as what? Top down design methodology. Means the arrow, it will start from top level to the sub block, so sub block to leaf cell. Okay, so in the next slide, so we can see the bottom up design methodology. So here the leaf cell, the macro cell and the top level block. So the design will start from the leaf cell and after it will reach to the macro cell. So after macro cell it will reach to the top level block. So what is the difference between these two? So only the difference is what? The arrow mark. So in the top down design methodology it will start from the top, and in the bottom up design methodology the design will start from the bottom. Okay, so the best example is what we are going to write a diagram, or we can sketch any diagram. So some of the persons what he is going to start from the top, and some of them they are going to start right in the bottom. Clear? So what here in the top down design methodology we are going to what differentiate the blocks. Okay, so take it as a big box. Inside the big box there are so many small boxes. Inside the small boxes leaf cells we call it as what? Another small boxes inside the small boxes. Okay, so how we are going to differentiate? We are going to take it as separate boxes and we are going to write a program for the each box. Okay, so that's why we call it as what? Top down design methodology. Okay, same thing for the bottom up design methodology. Okay, here what the leaf cell means what? Leaf cell is nothing but what? The basic small box. Okay, so small component we are going to take and write a program for the small box, and so after that small box is going to interconnect with the macro cell, so that macro cell is going to connect with the top level block. Okay, so here there is a example we can see in the next slide. So before going to that, so what is the function of this top down design and bottom up design? So typically a combination of top down and bottom up flow is used. Design architects define the specification of the top level block. Logic designers decide how the design should be structured by breaking up the functionality into the blocks and sub blocks. See here there is an example. See here the dotted line we consider as a top level. Clear? So in the slide we can see the dotted line, it is called as what? The top level. It is called what? Ripple carry counter. Okay, the top level block is what? The ripple carry counter, and the small box, okay, sub block we call it as what? T flip flop, T underscore FF, T flip flop. So inside this T flip flop, what is the leaf cell? Leaf cell in the T flip flop we can see in the T flip flop we can see the D flip flop. Okay, T flip flop, inside the T flip flop we can see D flip flop plus inverter. Clear? So this is what leaf cell. See, the top level is ripple carry counter, the sub block is T flip flop. Inside the T flip flop we can see the leaf cell, D flip flop and inverter. Okay, consider this dotted line. There are two inputs. What are the inputs? Clock and reset. These two is the input for the this top level block. What is the output? Q0, Q1, Q2 and Q3. These four is the outputs. Okay, so all of you know what is the truth table for T flip-flop, and inside this T flip-flop we can see the D flip-flop and the inverter. Clear? So this is what the example for the top-down design methodology or the bottom-up design methodology. Here there is a truth table, reset and Qn plus 1. Clear? 1 1. When the input is reset and Qn is 1 1, the output is 0. 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 0 0. So it is the circuit of to add 2 to 4 bit numbers can be designed using the adder that can add 2 1 bit numbers. Okay, so all of you know in the T flip flop there is a leaf cell. Leaf cell means it is nothing but what? D flip flop and the inverter. If the clock is high, when the reset is high, so what is the condition? That depends on the clock output, we will get the output. If it is not high, so again it will come back to the inverter and again it will feed to the D flip flop. So based on the conditions we will get the output. Clear? This output, it is related to this. Okay, Q0. Okay, again one Q0 output, we will get the Q0 output that is input to the next block. Okay, next T flip flop. So it is input to the next T flip flop. Again after that the output is Q1. So again it will input to the T flip flop. The Q2 is the output, and after we will get one more output and it is input to the last block. So Q0, Q1, Q2, Q3 is the output. Okay. See, 4-bit ripple carry counter is built in a hierarchical fashion by using the building blocks as follows. See here, I already told the example, the ripple carry counter, the dotted line. What we saw in the previous slide, the ripple carry counter is the dotted line, that is the big box. So after that there is a small boxes, T flip flop 1, T flip flop 2, T flip flop 3. So for the each T flip flop there is a D flip flop and inverter gate. Okay, so it is going to divide it. So this is what we call it as what? Leaf cells. Okay, so like this we are going to design from the top to bottom design methodology. So here we can do what? First we can design D flip flop and inverter gate. So that is what it is, a bottom to top up. Okay, bottom up design methodology. Clear? So what is the difference between, next is what we are going to study, what do you mean by module. So we already know there is a dotted line, we call it as what? Module. Where we can find out this module? So in the Verilog we can find out the module, and in VHDL we can say it is a entity. Clear? So module and module instance. Okay, so in the next slide we are going to discuss what do you mean by module and the module instances. So Verilog provides the concept of a module. Verilog, in Verilog we are going to use the module and the declaration. So a module is the basic building blocks in Verilog. Without module it is very difficult. Module means it is nothing but what? The physical appearance of the block. Clear? So there is a big square box. So what is the input and what is the output? So it is nothing but what? It is a basic building block in Verilog. A module can be an element or a collection of lower level design blocks. Right? So in the leaf cell we can see, in the previous slide, in the T flip flop there is a we call it as what? A block, in the a module we consider as a module. So inside this T flip flop we can see what? D flip flop and the inverter. Right? So that is nothing but what? It is a collection of lower level design blocks. Clear? So that's why a module can be an element or a collection of lower level design blocks. A module provides the necessary functionality to the higher level block through its port interface, input and the output, but hides the internal implementation. See, I already told there is a big square box, there is a input and there is a output. So what we don't know about inside the box. So it is nothing but what? The module. Clear? It will give only the physical appearance. Suppose if you consider as a, for example, a college. Okay, college means, so we don't know the internal structure. Only we can see the input students and the output students, but we don't know the internal structure of the college. Okay, so this allows the designer to modify module internals without affecting the rest of the design. Okay, so next, the hierarchical modeling concept in the design methodologies. In Verilog, a module declared by the keyword module, a corresponding keyword end module must appear at the end of the module definition. So while you are going to write a module, so see here there is an example. So module name, we can give any name, and module terminal list means input and the output. Clear? So here for this we can give the input port and the output port, and next there is a module internals, and finally we have to write the end module without space. Okay, so this is what the structure we are going to write the program. Clear? In Verilog. So we have to follow this type of instruction for writing the Verilog code. Each module must have the module name, which is in the identifier for the module, and the module underscore terminal underscore list, which describes the input and the output terminals of the module. Okay, it will see this is what input and the output terminals, and module name, it will identifies the particular the module. Clear? So the difference between the module and the module instance, here there is an example for the T flip-flop. So for the T flip-flop, what is the input? So the dotted line we call it as what? T flip-flop. So this is what the module name, and what is the input and the output. So Q is the output and clock is the input. Clock and the reset is the input. So clock and the reset is the input and Q is the output. So after this we can write any functionality of the T flip-flop, means logic we can write. So based on the truth table we can write the logic for the T flip-flop. Finally, after this functionality we can write end module. Okay, this is what a simple T flip-flop program. So this ends the session 5.